I'm Steve, and this is Tabletop Tastings. And here is another episode of Whiskey Drams with Steve. Tonight, we're talking glasses. So, does the glass really make a difference when you're having some whiskey? The answer really depends on where you are and who you're enjoying that whiskey with. For example, I was on a boat cruise in the Toronto Harbor, and I really wanted to enjoy that scenery and my friends with some scotch. And all they had to offer was scotch in a plastic cup. And I thought, oh, come on. Do I really want to do that? But you know what? I thought, I want to try it. Why not? I had scotch out of a plastic cup. I know, shouldn't be done. I did it. And you know what? I really enjoyed that glass of scotch because I sipped it looking at the Toronto Harbor, surrounded with friends, and I had a great time that night. So yes, would it have been better in a glass? 100%. However, I still got to enjoy some nice whiskey on Toronto Harbor boat cruise with some awesome friends. That being said, the aroma, the taste is going to vary substantially depending on the glass that you use. So you have maybe a rock glass and you're going to mix something up. That's all you need, right? You need something that's big enough to put some rocks in or ice in and do your mixed drink. But if you're like me and you really want to get the most out of your next dram, take a look at getting yourself some proper whiskey tasting glasses. It's really going to open up to you a new world of tasting when it comes to that. And it really opens up one of the best parts that I enjoy the most when I'm having a dram, and that is the aroma that you get from smelling it before you've even tasted it. So what can we do then? Well, in that case, you might want to choose either a Highland or a Glencairn glass. So this Glencairn glass was created by Glencairn, Glencairn crystals, inspired by the nosing glass that was used in whiskey labs in Scotland. So that's what they would use. That's a really good glass if you want to enjoy some Scotch whiskey. The nice thing about these is not just the history behind it, but the small opening. You can see the smaller opening at the top. That really allows all those aromas to go directly to your nose when you're sniffing it. And it will affect the flavor of it too, because our nose, what we smell, is going to affect the flavor, 100%. So the smaller little tapered opening really allows you to get more of those aromas before you've even tasted the glass. So that is a really good option. The Glencairn glass, awesome. Has a tiny little stem. Some people may not necessarily like this because you do have to hold on to the glass a little bit more, or you're holding on to just that tiny little bit of the bottom. Some like it because you warm up the glass a little bit with your hands, which is going to warm up the liquid inside. So that's good option, Glencairn glass. Your next option is the Highland glass. So very similar to your Glencairn, where you have a little bit of a tapered opening at the top, which is again going to trap a lot of those aromas to push them directly to your nose, concentrate it up to your nose so you get a really good nosing out of the glass before you've even tasted the whiskey. And the difference really is the stem too, right? So the stem allows you something to hold on to, and again, you're not warming up that whiskey inside the glass from your hand, holding on to it. So a really good option is the Highland glass, and really between the two, it's going to be personal preference, but you can't go wrong with either one of these. And you know what? I did a tour with Tim Wilson at the Wayne Gretzky Distillery here in Niagara-on-the-Lake. This is what they use for nosing and tasting the product that's coming directly off the still and then later off the cask. So really good option for you. Another really nice option for a glass is the tulip shaped. So it has a little bit of a tapered opening to the end. Again, smaller opening at the top to really get those aromas going directly to your nose. But again, a little bit of a rounded bottom to it. And the biggest thing, obviously, is a stem. So this glassware is really a classic when it comes to enjoying scotch or any kind of whiskey at all. One of the nice options with this glass is because of that tulip shaped, it does help to put the liquid back to further along back in on your tongue, so that when you're tasting it, if it's maybe a little bit of a sweeter whiskey, you don't get all the sweetness right away because you're putting a little bit further back on the tongue. In fact, if you ever do an ice wine tasting, that's the kind of wine glass that they want you to use, so that you put the ice wine further back on the tongue so that you're not killed with all the sweetness right away. So it is a nice option for whiskey as well. Again, maybe some of the sweeter ones, or if you don't really like a sweeter whiskey or you think it's too sweet, maybe a bourbon, try a glass like this, put it further back on your tongue and see if you enjoy that. And last but definitely not least, there is this beautiful Canadian whiskey glass. It's really kind of a mix between a rocks glass and a tulip shaped glass. You can see how it tulip shapes at the top. The wide bowl at the bottom of the glass allows you to put ice, so you can really use this even as a mixing glass as well. But one of the nice things about the little bit wider body to it, you're going to be able to enjoy the colors a little bit more in this Canadian whiskey glass. In fact, from my research, the only difference that I can tell between kind of a Glencairn and a Canadian whiskey glass is that, well, the Canadian whiskey glass has a bigger bowl to it. Perhaps they think that us Canadians like our mixed drinks more, and they could be true. That could be correct. We do really enjoy a good mixed drink. But you know what? The vast majority of Canadians drinking mixed spirits are probably going to have something mixed in it. However, this glass will allow you to do that, yet you have it on hand if you want to have something neat, which means no ice, you're not adding anything to it, maybe a drop or two of water. You're going to get great aromas out of that. And you know what? I think it looks pretty cool too. So the big question, which glass should I use? Well, whatever one you want, it really just depends on you and how you want to drink it. Again, if you have no vessel to get it from the bottle to your lips, use whatever you want. However, if you want to really enjoy, you've gone out, you've spent some hard-earned money on a really nice bottle, and you really want to enjoy the nosing before you've even tasted it, perhaps you're going to want to try one of these glasses to really increase your experience when you're enjoying. And I just wanted to share with you, there's glasses basically for anything nowadays. This is a beautiful glass from Denver and Lively. It is a Mezcal glass, and I've had some Mezcal in this beautiful glass. Look at that glass. That is gorgeous. They make whiskey glasses, they make scotch, whatever you want to drink. They've got a beautiful glass for it. I just wanted to share that beautiful glass with you since we're talking about glass. And I've really, really loved this company. Beautiful handmade glass there. So if you really want to get a nice tasting out of your next bottle, get out there and get yourself a Highland, a Glencairn, a Tulip, or if you're from Canada, maybe you're not. You want to taste like a Canadian? Get yourself a Canadian whiskey glass. Just go out there and enjoy some whiskey. So this has been another episode of Whiskey Drams with Steve. Thank you and have a good day.